is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are St. Louis.
This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. It's a day game, and the homestand comes to a close. Very important game for the St. Louis Cardinals here this afternoon. Game number 3, the Cincinnati Reds and the St. Louis Cardinals. Jim Hayes is here. That's the Mad Hungarian Al Raboski. I'm Dan McLaughlin, and welcome to Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest. Cardinals turn to a rookie in this all-important game, and it's Luke Weaver.
Luke Weaver's really been pitching well. We have seen him really emerge as a rising star. Look at his last 4 starts, 4-0. Look at the ERA and the strikeouts. Matter of fact, he's won 5 straight ball games, and he's really showing a lot of promise.
Luke Weaver is on the mound this afternoon. What has he done in terms of the history of the Cardinals and rookies? Well, pretty darn good. 2.16 ERA here in 2017. That's a minimum of 5 starts. The best, Alex Reyes in 2016, 1.57 ERA. Jose Martinez is in the lineup today. The rubber game against Cincinnati. Reds and Cardinals coming up on Fox Sports Midwest. Beautiful day for baseball. We're at Busch Stadium in St. Louis. The Cardinals and Reds in Game 3. With the loss last night, the Cardinals now 3 games out in the Central. They are 3.5 games back in the wild card. In game number 1, the offense came alive. 6 crooked numbers in game 1 and a win for St. Louis. Eugenio Suarez with this grand slam in game number 2. Cardinals were shut out. So it's a rubber game today. The Cardinals 5-11 in rubber games. That has to change today. Very important game for St. Louis. And they turn to Luke Weaver on the mound this afternoon. Struck him out. Back-to-back strikeouts. That time he got him. Strikes out the side. 9 strikeouts through 4 innings.
Another strikeout for Weaver.
How about Luke Weaver? 10 strikeouts tonight. Sports Midwest is brought to you by Bud Light, famous among friends. By Chevy Silverado, the most dependable, longest lasting, full-size pickups on the road. Find yours at your local Mid-America Chevy dealer. And by Menards, save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. It is an absolutely gorgeous afternoon for baseball. The Cardinals wrapping up their homestand. We will be in Chicago tomorrow, but unfinished business here today, Al Hrabosky. A very important game for St. Louis as Alex Mejia is in the lineup for the Cardinals today.
And my estimation, you got to win this ball game. And really, you can't really think about the wild card anymore because of the games that you have. You know, you have your only opportunity to go to postseason is to win the Central Division, and that's the goal anyway. And there you see Mejia
on the mound. Amir Garrett. Mejia hits from the other side of the plate, gets the start. Wong comes off the bench.
And how about our Hyundai pitch arsenal, Luke Weaver? A lot of fastballs. You see the 4-seam fastball. That's where he's been getting a lot of strikeouts. An excellent changeup. And then the cutter and the curve are emerging pitches. But really has dominated the lefties. And still, he's been able to really take good care of the right-handers as he's won 5 straight games.
So Luke Weaver gets the call today. The lineup that he'll face at the top, it's Jose Peraza, then Zach Cozart and Joey Votto. Eugenio Suarez, the grand slam last night. Scott Schebler, Adam Duvall, Philip Ervin used twice as a pinch hitter in this series. Tucker Barnhart And Amir Garrett, the pitcher, batting ninth. Toyota keys to the game, the ball on the ground. The ground ball percentage, it has been up the last 3 games for Luke Weaver.
And you think about that, all the ground balls and all the strikeouts he's getting, that's a pretty good combination to win a ball game. It's a good offensive club that the Reds have. Their problem is pitching. They got pitching last night.
There's Brian Price, who received the 1-year extension. Beyond that, who knows? They did, though, pick up that option. Phil Nichols gets a pat on the back from Mike Matheny. Phil Nichols, our cameraman, roving camera all over the place. And here is Peraza to lead it off against Luke Weaver. Hitting over 300 in his last 35 games. At second base here this afternoon. The 0-1 pitch. We've noticed the fastball that's up in the zone. And for so many years we said, well, you're up in the zone, you're going to get into problems with launch angle and shifts. A lot of guys uppercutting to an extent. And he gets it above the hand sometimes, and it's a very effective pitch.
A high pitch in the strike zone. Hitters love that. A pitch that's high above the strike zone is a pitcher's pitch. And that's where he's been getting a lot of his strikeouts on that 4-seamer.
2 balls and 2 strikes.
But Dan, you know what makes it so successful is when he's always pitching down at the bottom of the zone, particularly with the changeup, and then changing that eye angle, they'll chase the fastball up.
Here's a 2-2. Little squiver hit to the right side. Mejia, tough play with the English on that baseball, and he comes up with it. Look at the Cardinals defensively here today. Pham in left, Bader in center, Grichuk in right. Then Carpenter, DeYoung, Mejia, Martinez along the infield, and Yadier Molina is behind the plate. Jim Hayes had a nice interview on the pregame show with Alex Mejia.
Senor Guante, the glove man, as he really has impressed us with not only his defense but also his arm speed.
A strike to Zach Cozart. Homered in game 1, and Mejia can play short. He can play second base, where he's at here this afternoon. He's been very good at third, and I'm sure if he needed to, he'd be just fine at first base too.
Well, in the minor leagues this year, Mejia did play all 4 infield positions.
Here's a 1-1. We're talking about that 4-seam fastball. We'll see a strikeout, I'm sure, at some point from Weaver with the 4-seamer, but 21 of his last 36 strikeouts have been with the 4-seam fastball. Only Robbie Ray has more strikeouts on that pitch.
Change up coming.
And for fans that don't know, especially maybe our younger crowd, the 4-seamer and 2-seamer, Al.
Well, the 2-seamer is what we call a sinking fastball. The 4-seamer, some people say that it's straight. But if you throw real hard, I think a lot of people can get it to move and ride a little bit. Here's another changeup.
And a fly ball lifted out to left field. Tommy Pham under it. 2 outs. Joey Votto has been a Cardinal killer. I can remember 1 year where they kept him in check, and he hit probably 260 against the Cardinals, but this season against St. Louis, 462. The 6 home runs he's driven in 16. He's reached base in all the games against St. Louis.
When the series started, you said walk him.
To put it in perspective, he has reached base in 49 of the last 52 games against the Cardinals. And Weaver going right at him.
Just a hitting machine, an on-base percentage machine. Hit over 300 this year. He'll be in the top 10 and voting for the MVP, as he is all the time. Fastball away. Marciotti set up probably outside the box.
Hits his spot, struck him out. Strikeout of Votto. See Molina set up, and Luke Weaver hits the glove. Beautiful pitch. Garrett won 3 of his first 6 starts, has not won in his last 7, going 0-5. And he's finishing up his warm-up tosses. Matt Carpenter leads it off for the Cardinals, followed by Tommy Pham and then Paul DeJong. Jose Martinez, Yadier Molina, Harrison Bader, Rando Grichuk, Alex Mejia, and the pitcher batting 9th, Luke Weaver. Garrett, a big guy, 6'6", 230 pounds. Played basketball at St. John's. If you're a college basketball fan, he was a 4-star recruit, ranked 68th in the country, the 21st best small forward. He played 2 seasons at St. John's, averaged 6 points and 4 boards a game. And when we saw him, he was terrific against the Cardinals. And this is in a dunking contest. Findlay Prep High School in Nevada. It's pretty athletic, I'd say. Really good against the Cardinals earlier this season.
And I didn't see that game, but you see his numbers. But you're right. He 6 shutout innings against the Cardinals. He was so dominant. He reminded you of a little bit of Chapman. But since that time, he has really struggled. Struggled with control and struggled with the home run ball.
Since his debut in St. Louis, he's allowed 22 in 57 1/3. At least 1 home run in each of his last 7 starts. 3 or more home runs in 3 of the last 7. Inside, Carpenter hitting .202 against left-handed pitching this year. That's a bit of a surprise. Of his 99 walks, only 19 against the lefties.
Yeah, that is surprising. Garrett returned to the rotation. First time since June 20th.
3-1 pitch. Walk number 100 for Matt Carpenter. 100 walk seasons in Cardinals history, and Carpenter adds his name to that list with Stan the Man and Pujols, Big Mac, Jim Edmonds, Miller Huggins, Keith Hernandez, Jack Clark. He was on that list, and now Matt Carpenter. Of those that are in the lineup today for the Cardinals, position players, they went 1 for 12 against him in that start. We talk about all the time Tommy Pham and the issues that he has at times in day games, and the numbers bear that out. Day games, a .280 hitter, very respectable, but night games he's at .315. It is tougher for him to see during day games.
For whatever reason, he's hit much better on the road.
Inside corner, 1 ball and 1 strike. With the splits day and night for Tommy Pham. Garrett was in a spring training battle with Robert Stevenson, Cody Reed, Sal Romano. They all lived together, knowing that probably one would make the rotation or make the team. But the one that got the most attention was Amir's pet bull, Dozier. A swing and a miss. Dozier would come to the ballpark with him, spring training, around all the time. And Garrett picks up his first strikeout.
Yeah, it's pretty good stuff and everything. It's just a question of throwing strikes and keeping the ball in the ballpark. They've been really trying to work with his delivery. And he should be able to hide the ball better and take advantage of his height. 6'5", and yet the way he delivers the ball, his release point really negates that advantage.
Here's DeYoung. 292 hitter against the lefties. Most home runs allowed per 9. And Garrett at the top of that list. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Way inside.
Job to get away from that one. You know, effectively wild can be a very big advantage. You rarely hear that comment today about a pitcher, but something about putting a little fear in the batter just because you're all over the place.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. Inside.
There was a change up there, and it was a good example too of not finishing off his pitch. He kind of stands erect after when he releases the ball, instead of getting out in front, releasing the ball over your front foot. You know, he kind of standing erect and almost backpedaling.
2-1 is yanked foul. 2-2. Well, for Carpenter, 100 walks, first to get to 100 since Pujols in 2010. It's also about scoring runs. He has scored 80 this year. It's one thing to get on base, but you have to score too. And he has 80 runs scored, and that's second to Tommy Pham. Leads the club with 83. The 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Back-to-back strikeouts for Amir Garrett.
Another changeup right there. But both his strikeouts have come on a changeup.
Last 14 days, Martinez on a tear, and in that cleanup spot, hitting .429 the last 14. 4 doubles, 3 home runs, 10 RBIs. So he digs in with 2 outs and a runner at first. There's strike 1.
Fastball's kind of 93 and 95. Might have been a slider on that strikeout, but
here's the 0-1. Little tapper up the third base line, fair, and a base hit for Martinez.
Suarez doing the wrong thing and trying to field this ball in front of the bag. That looks like it was going to stay fair either way, so that was his only chance, and the only chance he had, even with the big man running down there, was to try and barehand it. Danny, you hope it's not a repeat of last night where the Cardinals couldn't get that big hit with runners on.
First 4 innings, they stranded 7. There's Yadier Molina.
He made the point last night also how well he's been hitting with 2 outs.
6 of his last 8 that he's driven in have been with 2 outs, and Yadi is up to 75. And to me, this is really interesting. In his career, in September, he gets better, where you think a catcher be wearing down and running out of gas, but that has not been the case with Yadier Molina. 0-1 pitch. On the ground is short. Force play at second, and the Cardinals strand 2. Suarez, Schebler, Duvall coming up, and there's no score. In 2017. Boy, on that, let's check in with Jim.
Yeah, he's hoping. Waino threw his second bullpen today since that elbow issue forced him to shut it all down. Waino told me he threw between 20 and 35 pitches. He told me he had more velocity than he did before going on the DL. Wainwright says he'll throw again on Saturday or Sunday. As for his role when he returns, starter or bullpen, Wainwright told me, this year I'll do whatever role helps the team the most. We're in that kind of time frame. Next year, I want to start. This year, I'll do what I'm supposed to do to help the team. Danny?
Jim, we also saw Jed Jerko right there on our shot looking at Adam Wainwright. How about an update on Jed?
Well, Jed's been cleared to pinch hit. The one remaining obstacle, as I reported yesterday, that he hadn't run hard making a hard turn. So he was concerned that as a pinch hitter, where he's swinging free and easy in spite of the hamstring, wasn't impacted that at all. If he hit one into the gap, turning the base, getting to second base might be a bit of an adventure, but the hamstring is getting better and better. So hopefully we'll see Jed in a pinch hitting role sometime soon.
All right, Jimmy, thanks.
Yeah, and I was talking to Jed yesterday and said, well, you know, there's one way for you to be able to perform and not have to run is hit the ball at the ballpark. He said, I try that every time I'm up at the plate.
Well, that would be the idea. Game on the line, bring him up.
And that's why Sierra came up, so if he's on base, then he would pinch run.
Adam Wainwright throwing in the bullpen, and that was Mike Matheny catching him. Cardinal manager went out to get a perfect look at it. The 2-0 pitch to Schebler, and he rips it. That's down into the corner in right. It's cut off by Grichuk. Throwing to second base, and not in time. Nice play by Grichuk, though, to get it back in quickly. Double for Schebler.
Absolutely. As he had a long run into the corner, got it before it got to the wall, and threw a strike right there. Pretty much in the middle of the plate. Schebler. So there you see Grichuk get it back, throw right on line, but has double written all over it. But that potentially that could have been a triple if it got by Grichuk or wasn't able to cut it off.
Duvall has hit in 10 straight against the Cardinals. .432 in those 10 games against St. Louis. A swing and a miss. Cardinals starting play today. 3 games back of Chicago. Half game back in Milwaukee. 3.5 out in the wild card. Cubs and Mets will play later tonight.
Now, Dan, you can't help. Well, how about that? Looked like it was going to be a throw right back to the pitcher. Weaver, you'd think your instinct would be to kind of jump up and try to catch that ball, but let it go on through and trying to get Schebler at second.
Here's a 1-1 off the end of the bat. Again, Weaver underhands to Martinez. Here's what you're talking about, Al. It's a bullet.
And look at all the time that Yadi waited. Trying to get Schebler to turn his back. Yadi's picked off 3 this year. All 3 of them been at third base.
One of those a key game against Cincinnati in a key spot with Lynn on the mound. The bases were loaded and Suarez turned his back on Yadi at third base. He was the runner and he picked him off.
Talking about he sees things that nobody else sees.
Here's Phillip Ervin, used as a pinch hitter twice in this series. He's hit safely in all 6 of his starts. A couple of doubles, a home run, and he's driven in 5. Here's a 1-0 pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, you look at Weaver, not a big guy as opposed to Garrett, who's 6'6" and 230 pounds. Weaver, thin, not overly tall, but yet can bring it mid-90s. Good pitch, 1-2. Missouri Lottery Fox Tracks hits a spot.
Generous strike zone.
One-two pitch.
That pitch I think was better than the called strike before. You know, you look at his frame, only 170 pounds for Weaver, but you know, you got that tall, lanky body that really has the whip action in the live arm.
Taken high, 3-2.
There's that 4-seamer up that you're trying to get the strikeout.
He struck out 1. That was Votto looking to end the top of the first. Yadi loves the changeup on a 3-2. That was it there. That's the difference between being a AAA or a 4A guy. Sometimes we talk about that. Predictable counts in the minor leagues. 3-2 fastball. Not here.
And you're really, with anybody with some command, you're going to see off-speed pitches usually on full counts.
Hit out of play again. Nice play made by a fan.
Had a little trouble getting the changeup down today.
3-2 pitch. Got him to reach. Ground ball hit to short. DeYoung under his glove. 1-0 Reds.
Paul has been playing so steady. Fastball away, like you said, he rolls over on it, stays down on him, and just underneath his glove. Look at Mejia backing up this play. Just underneath the glove, and can't give him runs.
So again, the Cardinals will have to play catch up.
All 3 games. We're able to overcome it on game 1 of this series. Irvin had 23 steals at the minor league level, so you do have to pay attention to it.
10th there on DeYoung. Here's Tucker Barnhart. And a swing and a miss for strike one. A switch hitter.
Good changeup right there. The real key is not only to have your arm speed the same as your fastball, but you've got to get that ball down. Sure, a lot of times guys will swing and miss to be out in front, you know, if the ball's up, but if it's down, they usually don't make contact.
All 3 games this weekend on Fox Sports Midwest. Huge series at Wrigley Field in Chicago. Carlos Martinez and John Lackey tomorrow afternoon. Michael Walker, Kyle Hendricks game 2. Lance Lynn, Jose Quintana in game 3.
Seen this inning, you've seen it, you know, when you're trying to throw that 4-seam fastball and you want it up, but sometimes you get underneath it a little bit and you aren't going to have the movement on it or a late explosion. Got to stay on top of it, still get it, the 4-seamer up for the strikeout.
1-2 pitch, hit out of play.
I can't help looking at Weaver and thinking about how much better he is this year and projecting Flaherty the same way. You know what Weaver went through last year and what Flaherty's going through right now is really going to help him next year. They're going to know what works here, what doesn't work, what they need to work on.
Runner goes, throw down to second, and out. Nice play by DeYoung. The short hop and the tag. Phillip Ervin caught stealing. The tag applied by DeYoung. 1-0 midway through 2. Leads it off last night. Yadier Molina, State Farm. Perfect pair. And that rifle to second base. That got Peraza. And then moments ago, Phillip Ervin. He's thrown out 9 of 13 red base stealers. The numbers on the rise with Billy Hamilton on the mend.
And Billy Hamilton out for the year with a broken thumb.
Billy Hamilton, by the way, 24 of 26 against Yadi.
I'll put a disclaimer on there because the vast majority of those successful steals were off the pitcher, and some of them Yadi didn't even have a chance to even throw. But the pitchers have done a much better job holding those runners closer, giving Yadi a chance, and his numbers are better this year.
Here's Bader, and he takes a ball. Our friend Lou Tevlin, when a pass along our thoughts and prayers to Lou and his family. His father Leo just passed away. Lou had worked in the media for a long time in St. Louis, and then as an agent, actually hosts with Danny Cox the outdoor show. Former Cardinal pitcher. So Lou, we're thinking about you. Bader on a 2-0. The fly ball into shallow right, and the catch is made. And it brings in Randal Grichuk. Your breakout MLB season is on Nintendo Switch. RBI Baseball 2017, filled with fast-paced pick-up-and-play MLB action. Learn more at RBIGame.com. Grichuk with home run number 20 this homestand. And he pulls that foul, and I asked him the other day, and I said, what's it mean to get to 20? He said it really is significant. Back-to-back years in the big leagues, to have 20 or more home runs, it does mean something to me.
Yeah, 44 home runs the last 2 years, and has spent time in the minor leagues also. So, got unbelievable power.
Off-speed pitch, 0-2.
Not sure he'll ever hit for a high average, but you know, if he produces, he stays in that lineup.
And a strikeout of Grichuk, third of the afternoon for Amir Garrett. The batter is Alex Mejia. A slow start offensively, batting just 125. And between Springfield and Memphis, he had 291. There was 118 games, AA and AAA.
He was an all-star at AA and 335 batting average at Memphis.
There's ball one.
We noted that an outstanding defensive player and a real strong throwing arm.
He's the perfect September call-up when you think about getting late into a game. If you have a lead and you're trying to throw your best defensive group out there, he's right in the mix.
And when you project him too as a utility player, he does fit the #1 goal of an infielder, is the ability to play shortstop. You can find guys play second and third, but can you find somebody that can play shortstop along with second and third? And as you say, first base, and probably wouldn't be afraid to put him in a corner outfield spot.
Popped up to the right side. Votto giving chase, hustling, and out of play. 2-2. And the fourth strikeout of the afternoon. Amir Garrett. Third inning rolls in when we come back. St. Louis, top of the third. Kia in the driver's seat. Lowest ERA since the 1st of August. And Weaver only trailing Steven Strasburg in ERA. Corey Kluber on that list with the distance in his last start. Jake Arrieta's had a terrific second half.
Look at all 5 of those guys having outstanding seasons.
And there's a strike. Tucker Barnhart, Amir Garrett, and Jose Peraza. Barnhart was at the plate when Irvin was caught stealing. And a little grounder that's foul. Mike Montgomery going tonight for the Cubs against Lugo. Here's a swing and a miss. Strikeout number 2 today for Luke Weaver. Garrett hitting .056. Bettis, or rather, yeah, Bettis and Godley, Colorado, Arizona coming up later this afternoon. Lugo 6-4 for the Mets. Would be a night game at Wrigley. Two balls and no strikes. Cincinnati trying to figure out the right combination from here going forward for their rotation and their bullpen. Like their closer, they probably could get a haul for Iglesias, but he's under control for a number of years. Reasonable price. 2-1 pitch, and it's 2-2.
And Dan, if you got a young team and a team that rebuilding, and it seems like they've been rebuilding for many years, you better have a closer, because the lead you have, you better hold on to them. You're not going to have that many opportunities. So in my mind, I think a closer for a bad ball club is very necessary.
They traded away some of their superstars along the way. That's hit foul. It's a fine line, though. Do you keep those players, or do you say, let's go get younger, let's develop players, but you better get the right ones? You got to hit on some of those.
You know,
Garrett gets it out of play.
They have hit on some guys, like Duvall and Suarez. Biggest problem, I guess, is some of their pitching won't know yet for several years whether the young prospects they've got in return will show up, and some of them haven't been able to stay healthy.
They have under contract next year Joey Votto, $25 million. Homer Bailey, $25 million. Devin Mesoraco at 14. So that's $64 million for 3 players. The 2-2. Garrett puts it in play to third. So here's what we're talking about. The trade haul of the Cincinnati Reds last couple of years for Johnny Cueto, Mike Leake, Todd Frazier, and Aroldis Chapman. We saw rookie Davis pitch in this series. They thought the Cueto deal would be really big for them with those lefties. Finnegan, Lamb, and Cody Reed.
Finnegan's on the disabled list right now. And Suarez, Wallach, Reed, Duvall, Schebler, Peraza, rookie Davis, and Castillo. All are on their September roster that they've acquired recently. And think about Schebler, Suarez, and Duvall. And Peraza, that's pretty good for your offense.
Near the Cardinal dugout, but out of play. It's a ball and a strike, 2 outs and nobody on. Breaking pitch fouled back. And the 1-2. Peraza swing and a miss, held on to by Molina. It'll be Weaver, and then the top of the lineup for St. Louis. It's 1-0. Donations to be able to provide disaster relief immediately. Help people affected by Hurricanes Harvey and Irma. Visit redcross.org or text the word Red Cross to 90999 and make a $10 donation. A lot of kids are out of school today here at the ballpark. It's our annual career day, and had the chance to MC that. Also a college fair here at the ballpark. About 3,000 students. Cardinals reaching out to many of the schools across Illinois and the state of Missouri to invite those kids to come on down. Luke Weaver at the plate.
Seems like we've always talked about Cardinals have trouble against a rookie pitcher, particularly the first time they've seen him. Well, in this case with Garrett, there's 5 guys in the lineup that are seeing him for the first time, and then the other guys in the lineup are 0 for 7 against him. So in essence, they are seeing him for the first time.
3-0. See what kind of adjustments the Cardinals will make second time through. A lot of pitches swinging outside the strike zone.
That's what I was going to say. Hopefully they will make him pitch in the strike zone.
3-1. Bill Miller there on the left, a former batting champion with the Boston Red Sox. John Mabry on the right. Three and 2. You watch Garrett, he's kind of all over the place with that delivery too.
And former Cardinal pitcher Jeff Fassero has been working with him on his motion, trying to refine it.
And he comes back to strike out Weaver after falling behind 3-0. Go big when the Cardinals go big. Coffee, fountain, frozen drinks, any size drink, 50 cents. The next day at On the Run, Redbird scores 6. Keep the celebration going. Stop by On the Run tomorrow for a thirst-quenching win. You earned it. So first time through, 5 strikeouts for Amir Garrett. Carpenter is 2 for 4 in this series with a double and 6 walks. Walked his first time up and looks at ball 1.
as a lot of the Cardinals are swinging the pitches out of the strike zone, especially secondary pitches. You get Carpenter with that good batting eye. Rarely does he expand the zone.
Here's a 1-0 pitch. It's pulled foul. Mentioned that delivery a little bit inconsistent. That seemed to be fairly compact.
More so, yeah. And like I said, that time he's kind of finishing off, but a lot of times he's recoiling as he's releasing the ball, standing up instead of finishing off the pitch. Other times, you know, the kind of his arm angle will change a little bit.
Here's a 1-1. You can understand why Carpenter would do that with the shift on, and no one even close to the third base bag. Amir Garrett last year 144 2/3. Split time between AA Pensacola, AAA Louisville. They pitched in the Futures game a couple of times already in his young career. Two and two.
It's the slider that guys are chasing. And he has a pretty good changeup. There's a slider there.
The 2-2. 6 strikeouts for Garrett. Tommy Pham, the BJC Healthcare difference maker. August 4th, loss at Cincinnati, and following that game he said, man, we're not good, we're not dynamic, we just have a lot of guys who are still trying to figure it out. Well, things have changed. A lot of guys have been called up. Energy in this lineup since then, 10 games above the 500 mark. Pham, a big reason why.
Sometimes you have to have those meetings where you kind of as a team come together and say, hey, we got to have to do this, and Tommy's comments kind of coincide with their upswing.
0-2 the count. Pham just 3 for 19 in the month of September. At .310 in August, .355 in July.
I almost wonder if he's wearing out a little bit. Never really been an everyday player. You know, the Reds, of the 15 meetings so far, and there are going to be 3 more after today, the Reds have won 9 of the 15.
Last year the Cardinals won 10 of the 19 meetings between the two teams, and they hit a ton of home runs. You may recall they had 35 home runs last year against Cincinnati. 2-2 the count on Tommy Pham with 2 outs and nobody on.
Reds pitching staff again this year has given up a ton of home runs.
Mentioned that Garrett was a basketball star, thought about quitting baseball, but he said the relationship with his grandfather, he wouldn't do it. There's a walk to Tommy Pham. Inside of his cap he's got written Pops. His grandfather very instrumental in his career, his development, and Grandpa said don't give up baseball, and here he is in the big leagues. Pham has been great on the road. DeYoung has been great at Busch Stadium. .357, 10 home runs here at Busch Stadium.
Usually when you have someone as tall as Garrett is, they're going to be slow to the plate.
Pham running, and stolen base number 20 for Tommy Pham. Now a home run away from being a 20-20 man. 20 steals and 20 home runs.
So takes off here. Now you're talking about Barnhart, who's thrown out 45% of runners. So a good test right there, and he gets that stolen base with ease. And one of his goals is that 2020.
Most stolen bases by a Cardinal since Jason Hayward at 23 in 2015.
We talked about Paul DeJong, how much he's been playing and everything, and you wonder if he's getting a little tired. A lot of times your hands and arms get a little tired and you don't have that direct approach to the ball.
I
You
love
start
what
sweeping.
Gary LaRocque, though, tells these guys. He says, we expect you to get yourselves prepared to play in October. He goes down to each clubhouse in the minor leagues. He says, I don't care if you're hurting, you're tired. There are no excuses. You must be ready to play in October. That's our expectations as an organization. Love hearing that.
Yeah, and it makes sense. But if you're out there playing every day and you've never played in September, you know, or October, you know, it does take a toll until you get used to it.
What's our buddy Tim McCarver saying?
It's the big leagues, man.
It's the big leagues, man. Get ready. There's a swing and a miss.
I've been impressed with Paul DeJong. Just, you know, he doesn't get too high when he's really playing well, and he's been just a plus. And when he's, you know, struggling a little bit, he doesn't get down on himself. Stays very even keel.
Tying run at second base at 3-2. And that's in the dirt. So back-to-back walks after back-to-back strikeouts. Garrett had struck out 4 in a row. Now he's walked 2 in a row. And the batter will be Jose Martinez, who has done some of his best damage against left-handed pitching. 407 the average against lefties. And here in the month of September, not many guys have done that. The 400+ average, the slugging percentage 700 or better. JD Martinez, Cargo, Jose Martinez, and Asdrubal Cabrera.
Dan, you talked about how would they be the second time through the order, and you're starting to see guys not swing at those sweeping breaking balls, making him throw strikes, and they're walking.
Infield hit first time up. Runners at first and second. And there's a ball. That's a pitch that they were chasing first time through.
Yep. You said Martinez got that little swinging bunt down the third baseline. Infield single, so, and you know he rarely strikes out, makes good contact.
Here's a 1-0. Fastball and a strike.
Does a good job of hitting the ball where it's pitched.
Runners go. Pitch taken for a ball. 2-1 the count.
Not paying attention to the runners. You know, you could, Garrett will say, hey, there's 2 outs. If I get the hitter, they can run all they want. They're not going to score. But it's not a good idea.
2-2, may have chased a ball.
I was thinking that, you know, we've watched Garrett here. Predominantly, he's pitching on the inner part of the plate. And doesn't use, not too many pitches have been away like that last one. But it seems like trying to get in on the right-handed batters is probably where he's left a lot of pitches over the middle of the plate, and that's why he's given up 22 home runs.
Runners at second and third. The 2-2 pitch to Jose Martinez. Inside. Molina on deck, and again 3-2 the count. So a lot of strikeouts, and now the walks, and pitch count already at 58. This crowd comes alive. The 3-2 pitch. Martinez, base hit in the left. 1 run is in. Here comes another. The Cardinals have the lead. takes it 2-1 St. Louis.
Just talked about allowing these guys to steal. Well, that just guarantees if you give up a base hit to the outfielder, there are going to be 2 runs coming in. You'll lose the lead. But a good job of hitting once again by Martinez, coming through. RBIs 39 and 40. Duvall's got a real strong throwing arm and left, but there's no way. The 3-2 pitch, the runners are running. They're going to get him at home plate.
Here's Molina. First Cardinal hit with a man in scoring position in their last 8 at bats. 0 for 6 last night, now 1 for 2 today. Molina grounded into a fielder's choice first time up.
Wore out themselves in that first game of the series.
1 ball and 1 strike, so 31 pitches. Here in the bottom of the 3rd, he struck out the first 2, then back-to-back walks, double steal. Martinez, the base hit into left.
And good adjustments this second time around.
Molina with a fly ball into right. Schebler under it, makes the catch. Jose Martinez, big hit for the Cardinals early on. They needed that one. St. Louis goes on top for the first time. It's 2-1. Today for the Cardinals. 2-1 our score. We check in with Jim.
Yeah, Alex Mejia is making just his 9th major league start. Hasn't hit much, but he's already making contributions with his versatility and outstanding defense. He is at second base today, but he's already played all 4 infield positions for the Cardinals. He played 1 inning at first base this season. As for trying to get a swing going, he told me, I'm confident as a hitter because I've proven myself at every level. For me, the main focus is mental, because it's easy to get frustrated and down on yourself with limited at-bats. Dan, he told me, you just have to find a way to make it work.
He's done a very nice job, and again, can play multiple spots. Very good defender. Here's a 1-0 pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike. Zach Cozart. Big hit by Jose Martinez moments ago to give the Cardinals a 2-1 lead. So if you include yesterday and again today, Martinez has gone 4 for his last 6. Rest of the team 3 for 35.
Oh. Not the time to go into a slump, is it?
No, sir. His base hit drives in 2. He's up to 40 driven in.
10 years in the minor leagues will make you enjoy every minute you're at the big league level.
Cozart, ground ball to 3rd. Carpenter up with it. Low throw picked by Martinez. go back to the Votto first at bat, pitch by pitch.
Well, watch Luke Weaver just goes right after him. Fastball, 94, strike one, 94, strike two. Then right on the black, 96 miles an hour. Now he has a long animated conversation with our home plate umpire, Adrian Johnson. But when he took the field the next time, he stopped to the umpire, and I can only imagine he said, "I looked at the tape. You were right. I'm wrong. I'm sorry."
Happens all the time.
You know, I mean, that's the one positive that, you know, a guy can come out there and admit his mistake. And it was right after him throwing strikes, and it was you know, just the ball got all the strike zone, and it was a perfect pitcher's pitch, and Votto acknowledged it.
Weaver going right at Votto, 5 pitches, 5 strikes. Now it also can work in the flip side where Votto could have walked out and said, you know what, saw the tape, it's out. That ball was out.
That happens too.
0-2 pitch. We just saw Jose Martinez with that pick at first base. Now he dropped one yesterday, but the Cardinals really pleased with his defense as we go forward. Talking with Mike Shildt yesterday before the game, Ali Marmol, those two working with the infielders. And more so than the picks and the footwork, it's about situational defense, thinking through as a first baseman what you need to do, who's up, type of speed, pull hitters, how far can I play off the bag. There's a ground ball that's hit to second. Votto flips his bat, and that's out number 2. You know, you think about it, a first baseman, especially with a runner on, he's got a lot of activity out there, from holding a runner on to cut plays. All those different things come into play for a Jose Martinez.
Or just how to hold a runner on. But, you know, a few years back, a teammate he had in Venezuela told him, you better start learning how to play first base. And he's reached out to the teammate and said, you know, okay, this winter when I come back home, I want you to work with me and help me get even better. Knowing that, the Cardinals are real pleased also.
There's Suarez with a grand slam last night, hitting just .209 though in the month of September after a .348 August. Good pitch in on his hands following the breaking ball that was called a strike. 0-2. Weaver trying to pick up strikeout number 4 today. And the 0-2 lined into right center. Bader won't get there. Drops in for a hit on an 0-2 pitch. The second hit for Cincinnati today.
Suarez has come along pretty good. Try to get in on him, but he uses his hands, fights that ball off, and gets the base hit. Kind of pulled the hands in real close to the body and still gets more of the meat of the bat on the ball. He's having a good breakthrough year, isn't he?
Memphis and El Paso scoreless in the bottom of the 7th, game 2 of that championship series.
How many games they play? 5, 7?
It's a 5-game series.
5-game series?
Yeah.
Then they won last night?
Won last night. And doing it with some of the AA players.
Imagine they're almost down to some of the single A guys.
It's incredible. One ball and 1 strike. Schebler in the second half hitting just .196.
Contact there, but you can see at the extreme first base side of the rubber.
Mentioned all the home runs that this lineup has. 6 guys with 20 or more. Reds have hit 200 this year. 7th time the Reds have hit 200 home runs. Last time that happened was back in 2007.
You see him throw from that side of the rubber. It's real easy for a pitcher to throw to your pitching arm side, outside in this case. That's easy to do there. Sometimes I think when I see a guy on first base, he's there because he's trying to help himself get, in this case, inside to a left-handed batter or away to a right-handed batter.
Well, Schebler has very good power, but many times you think with a left-handed batter, 2 strikes, just trying to put the ball in play, the left fielder would play a little bit more in, and that would be Tommy Pham.
But look at the gap in left center, but it really spread out there.
1-2 pitch. We were talking with some of the Reds personnel that have been watching Weaver and scouting him before the game today, and they think that this guy is going to be an outstanding starting pitcher.
He's got 2 very good pitches right now, and he can get the curveball more consistent, and he's really going to be going to the next level.
Three and two, 2 outs. So Martinez, left-handed batter, will play behind the runner. Runner at first is Suarez. He's off with his pitch. 3-2. Inside corner and struck him out. 4 today for Luke Weaver. Bader, Grichuk, Mejia coming up. Schebler didn't like it. Goes Weaver's way. Pitches out of the zone against Garrett, and then second time through making adjustments. The Cardinals have done that.
Now they really have. And you think about the slider, Pham, he's never faced before. He strikes out. So does DeYoung and Mejia, all 3 on the slider. Now the second time through, now they spit on it. Now they've seen it before. Now they take it. Both of them walk. Both of them come around to score on the base hit by Martinez. We'll see if Mejia can make the same adjustment.
Love the fact the Cardinals use that double steal as well.
Absolutely.
First pitch to Bader. He slams down his bat. Fly ball into left, and the catch is made. So 1 pitch, 1 out. The batter will be Randal Grichuk. McDonald's Ticket Fest is back. Visit Cardinals.com/McDonald's. Purchase $9 tickets. See the Cardinals play the Cubs at Busch Stadium. September 12th through the 14th. $9 seats. Cubs and Cardinals at Cardinals.com/McDonald's.
Randall was a strikeout victim. See if he learns.
Mentioned last night over at the AT&T rooftop, the special deal at Cardinals.com/TV, $68 seats, all inclusive. Final weekend of the series, or rather of the season, the final series against Milwaukee. 0-1 the count. Amir Garrett has struck out 6. He has walked 3.
Another slider. And you look at his speed. It's almost more like a curveball speed. But we call it a slider, and here's another one.
And he struck him out on the 1-2. 7 today for Garrett.
See if this one is a strike right on the black there. Gave up on it thinking it'd be outside, and then it breaks down and in.
Garrett listed as the top pitching prospect for the Reds coming into this season. 2nd overall to Nick Senzel at 3rd baseman. They've got some young position players coming up, but it's going to be a year or two. 2 outs and nobody on. Alex Mejia struck out first time up.
They've got a young pitching staff.
The veteran at first will be there for a while. He is locked up long term. Joey Votto. No signs of slowing down one bit. 0-2 pitch.
Wonder what if they made him available, what the offers would be.
He's from Toronto. I'd be really curious if the Blue Jays would be interested in a guy like Votto, hometown product. Mejia bounces it foul. Always talk about finishing the play, and that's what Suarez did.
And don't be the umpire. Go ahead and execute the throw, and then turn around and find out if it's fair or foul.
A's lead the Red Sox 1-0. That's in the bottom of the 5th. White Sox over Detroit 6-2. And the 1-2 pitch to Mejia to the backstop. Wrigley Field tomorrow. All 3 games on Fox Sports Midwest. What should be a electric atmosphere. 2 teams, rivals for so long, and still playoff implications on the line. 2-2. Mejia to short. Cozart settles, throws high, and Mejia advances to second base. And Cozart, that's his 3rd error in this series.
I don't know if we've ever seen him make 3 errors.
We haven't.
Ever. Yeah. Normally a very, very sure-handed, strong throwing. Just aimed that ball and took off. Another situation too. If you're the runner, run hard. Never know.
Is that Greg Garcia there? Yeah. Almost got him. And Cozart did everything right in terms of getting settled after the play. It didn't throw off balance. Mejia winds up at second base, and the Cardinals at least get Weaver through the lineup. That'll keep you on your toes.
Yeah. Nice day game, getting a little tan, watching the ball game, and then you have to duck.
The 0-1 pitch to Luke Weaver.
I don't think Weaver likes breaking pitches, but he's got a fastball coming up there. He'll swing the bat a little bit.
On the air tomorrow at 12:30, the young gunslinger Carlos Martinez against the old veteran John Lackey.
Old Grizzly vet. He'll be happy, won't he? Lackey.
be in a foul mood.
Liked it when he was with us.
Ground ball that's hit to short. Cozart up with it and just got him. Speaking of veterans, Adam Wainwright, Yadier Molina. It's 2-1 Cardinals. What's on Tap presented by Budweiser. The road trip, 3 cities, Chicago, Cincinnati, and Pittsburgh. Pretty interesting here. Assuming the Cardinals win today or the Cubs lose, this weekend will be just the 10th time Cubs and Cardinals they've ever played a series in September, with both teams being within 3 games of first place. That will be a madhouse in Wrigley this weekend.
It'll be so much fun. I'll be doing pre and post and wishing I was with you.
And I'll see you in
Cincinnati
and Pittsburgh. Here's Adam Duvall. Duvall with 31 home runs this year. There's ball 1. For the Cubs, it's kind of been, well, wait till the World Series hangover is through. Wait till they get through the All-Star break. Wait till they make a trade. It's a team that a lot of people felt would run away with the division. Myself not being one of them. A lot of wear and tear. I remember I was saying that at the beginning of the year. A lot of wear and tear on some of the older pitchers that they've got. Here's a 2-0. There's that 4-seamer up. 2-1.
Last year, Weaver did make an appearance, a relief appearance against the Reds here at Busch, and didn't go very well for him because Duvall hit a 3-run home run.
To me, though, it's a completely different guy.
Oh, absolutely. You know, the biggest thing is he gave major league hitters too much credit and was trying to saying, I better be perfect. I'm going to throw this ball down and away. Perfect pitch. Ball 1. Now I better make it even perfect. Ball 2. And pitching behind, you know, nobody's going to have the stuff that you can do that, especially when you're going through the league your first time. But they told him, you got to trust your stuff. Be aggressive. Throw strikes. Attack the zone. Your stuff's good. And what a difference it's made. He's won 5 straight games. ERA down with the big boys and showing that his promise is one of the best, could be one of the best in the league.
2-2 pitch. Fly ball out to left, backing up just a bit. Tommy Pham. Folks in Big Mac Land, and when the Cardinals hit a home run, get a free frozen Coke or McDouble the next day with the McDonald's app. Download it for exclusive deals. Last Cardinal to win 5 in a row as a rookie, Alan Watson did it in 1993. Lefty from New York. It started with such promise in the big
really
leagues.
did. And that's the thing. You know, you see so many of these young guys, and we're getting glowing reports on Weaver and Flaherty, guys that have seen, you know, or their organizations.
Irvin hits it down the right field line and out of play.
But, you know, you think about next year, you can't have all these rookies in the lineup, you know, in your rotation. You know, where's Reyes going to be coming off Tommy John this year? Got to have some of that mixture of the veteran leadership to kind of still teach them and provide them the knowledge that they need.
Here's the 0-2. Last Cardinal rookie to win 6 in a row was Lance Lynn in 2012. Lynn is lined up to go in Game 3 against the Cubs. That'll be against Jose Quintana. Here's a 1-2 pitch. 2-2.
Been shaking off Yachty a little bit on that changeup. He did throw it the last one, but it's out of the strike zone. Didn't want the fastball, wants to change up this time.
2-2 pitch. Got him.
That's a real good one.
Not only little downward movement, but also hitting his spots. And that strikeout number 5. Remember, he had the back-to-back strikeouts, 10 strikeouts in those games, and then 9 the start after that. Minimum 5 starts. Luke Weaver since 1900, most strikeouts per 9. Kerry Wood, Birch Smith, Steven Strasburg, Luke Weaver, and Max Scherzer.
Now, if you can only have the careers of Scherzer and Strasburg, Kerry Wood, I think, you know, we'd take that too.
Here's Tucker Barnhart. The 0-1 is taken just a bit high. One and two.
Good curveball there. You've got to throw that a few more times and, you know, work on that pitch, but change up.
2-2. You see him throw the curveball, it seems like. We'd have to look at the numbers more against the lefties than he does against right-handed batters.
And you would think it would be the opposite. You'd think he'd throw it more to the right-handers and the change up to lefties, but his is so good he'll throw it to everybody. And Dan, I was criticized at times for not working on a secondary pitch, and I said, well, here we are in the 9th inning, 2-1 game. You want me to work on it now? Well, no. You know, tomorrow it's 1-0. You want me to work on it? No. But as a starter, you can.
And the 3-2 pitch. Ground ball, right side. Martinez, Weaver. And a 1-2-3 inning. Top of the lineup coming up for St. Louis in a 2-1 ball game. St. Louis Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by your local St. Louis area Volkswagen dealers. Visit VWDealer.com. Gorgeous afternoon here in St. Louis. Busch Stadium, the scene, game number 3. A look at the comparison of Joey Votto and Matt Carpenter. And a lot of walks. 1 and 2 in that category in baseball this year. Votto 121. Another walk for Carpenter to get him to 100. And he's the first Cardinal to 100 since Albert Pujols in 2010. He has walked and he has also struck out today. Carpenter, Pham, and DeYoung for the Cardinals as we start play here in the bottom of 5. A lot of teams putting this shift on with Carpenter, and with the sore shoulder, not seeing him pull the ball all that much, majority of the time going to left. And because of the threat of the bunt, which he tried to do last time up, they've got to play in at third and respect that.
But still a lot of hitting room on that left side of the diamond.
Outfield is deep. They are straight away. Amir Garrett here this afternoon has struck out 7 and he's walked 3. Both teams with 2 hits, and the Cardinals a 2-1 lead.
Walked Carpenter to lead off the ball game, and then he walked Pham and Young back in the 3rd, and both came around to score.
2-1 the count. Just joined us first time through the lineup. Garrett struck out 5. Cardinals made the adjustment of not chasing too many pitches out of the zone. They had back-to-back walks, and those walks came around to score on the base hit by Martinez. 3-1. And Garrett steps away. A basketball player at St. John's, great athlete, 6'6", 230 pounds. 4-star recruit, decided to stick with baseball. 3-1 pitch, and he walked him. 7 walks in the series for Matt Carpenter. Enjoy the last weekend of the regular season. Cardinals take on the Brewers Saturday, September 30th. That day, 30,000 fans go home with a Scott Rowland bobblehead courtesy of Coca-Cola and Deerbergs. Fans also receive a 2018 Cardinals Magnet schedule. That's thanks to Shelter Insurance. Visit cardinals.com/promotions for more information. 4 walks in the ball game by the lefty of the Reds. I would imagine a series at Wrigley can be tough, a weekend series for Tommy Pham, because of all the day games and the vision issues.
Depending on the wind there also.
And Pham with a high fly ball lifted out to right. It's at the wall. Gone! Into the Cardinal bullpen. Opposite field home run. Tommy Pham. He's now a 2020 player. First time he's ever done that. Earlier today, stolen base number 20, and that is home run number 20. Congratulations, Tommy Pham.
I think it's going to be a little easier tomorrow in the day game for Tommy Pham. That was one of his goals. He picked up his 20th steal. Actually, he got 2 steals today, and now he's got the home run to go with it. Pitch away, takes it the other way. We talked about that Garrett has allowed a lot of home runs this year. This is number 23. And you're talking about, what, about 67 innings.
The first Cardinal to get 20 home runs, 20 steals in a season in under 130 games. He's done it at 113. Remember, he did not start the season with the Cardinals. About 6 weeks in, brought up in a series in Atlanta, along with Magneuris Sierra, really provided a jump to the Cardinals offensively that weekend, and he's stuck around ever since.
Well, he stuck around. He's just been outstanding. He's got an air of confidence. about him, and I think he's been the right guy at the right time to kind of jumpstart this team and get them playing in the right direction. You know, sometimes you think you're good and you.
DeYoung on a 3-0, just foul.
You know, you think that oh, we can wait. You know, we can wait. It'll all come together. It'll all come together. Well, then you all of a sudden it's too late. Just foul by less than a foot.
But the hops there, it's not a ball boy, I don't think. That's the ball man. Great hops, great anticipation, the athleticism.
Young man. But you're right, scaled that wall.
And there's another walk. That's 5 today, and 3 of the 5 have come around to score. With that activity, Jackson Stephens, right-hander, throwing in the Cincinnati pen.
You kind of figured this was going to be his last inning of work. His spot is due up, but also the pitch count would be around 100. Martinez 2 for 2. He got the big 2-out, 2-run single. You see Stephens. They've only used 30 pitchers this year. And it looks like we might see the pitching change right now. Double switch.
So Brian Price visits with Adrian Johnson, the home plate umpire. This will be a double switch, and that'll be it for Amir Garrett, who strikes out 7 along the way, but walks 5. You get high strikeouts, a lot of walks, usually a high pitch count, and an early exit.
There's 3 hits allowed.
Runs, 20 steals in a season since all the way back in 2004. Cardinals picked up Reggie Sanders. Had some good years with the Cardinals, and the 7th to do that all time. The long 100+ year history of the St. Louis Cardinals. There with Alex Reyes. Stephens is the new pitcher, part of a double switch. Kiblahan checks in. He's in right field. Schebler going from right field to center. And with the runner at first base, the batter will be Jose Martinez, who's 2 for 2. And out of the ball game, Phillip Ervin. Big hit in this game when the Cardinals needed to get something going. Was in the 3rd. They struggled last night with runners in scoring position. Cardinals had a double steal, 2nd and 3rd, and Martinez delivered with a 2-out base hit to put them on top.
Stephens, this is his 3rd stint with the ball club. First time he was up for 5 days, and late May, but did not pitch. And the second stint, he was up for 1 day. He made 25 starts at AAA and 1 relief appearance.
2 balls and no strikes. Fastball right around 94, mixes in a slider, curve, and a changeup.
His 3rd appearance in September.
The 2-0. Martinez with a high fly ball. Right center at the wall, and it's caught. And back to the bag at first goes Paul DeJong. He just missed it. Yadier Molina is 0 for 2. Wouldn't that be something, though, the Cardinals to be within 3, maybe 2, going into Wrigley Field this late in the season? The Cubs and the Cardinals that close to each other. It sets up to be a great weekend of baseball at Wrigley.
Just last couple of years, they've both been good ball clubs at the same time in September. It was last year they kind of walked over the Cardinals.
They walked over everybody. Molina with a fly ball into right.
That was 2 years ago.
The catch is made. We'll start your day with First Things First, weekday mornings on FS1 with hosts Chris Carter and Nick Wright. Kick off the day with the latest in sports. First Things First, weekdays at 5:30 on FS1. I think what you're referring to is when the Cardinals won 100 games, ran out of steam, then got steamrolled by the Cubs in postseason play.
Exactly.
Here's Harrison Bader. Seen a total of 3 pitches and 2 plate appearances today. And you really could see it coming in that second half of 2015 with the Cubs. Everything started to get going. Young guys emerged, played to their potential. They were awesome a year ago. As Bader singles into center field. DeJong with 2 outs, racing around the bag at second, and runners at the corners. Harrison Bader is 1 for 3.
Bader moved up to the 6th spot because of what he does against left-handed pitching. He's hitting .533 with 2 home runs and just 15 at bats against lefties. He's 0 for 2 against the lefties. Gets a righty now and he gets the base hit.
So runners at first and third for Randal Grichuk.
All going around the bases there, kind of stride at right before second, and had to reach for it. A lot of times you turn an ankle trying to do that, but no harm. Gets over to third like he should have.
Grichuk, 2 runners on. Runner goes. Throw down to second and safe at second is Bader. The aggressiveness today of the Cardinals.
4 steals today. Takes off. That throw would have been on the first base side of the bag. He would have been out, but it's on the third base. Allows you to get that hand in there. They may take a look at it. They're debating that right now.
Well, if you're Brian Price at this point in the game, you may have nothing to lose. If you're 50-50 with it, base hit all of a sudden makes it 6-1 getting later into the game. But they're not going to challenge, and so the 4th stolen base by the Cardinals here this afternoon. Runners at second and third for Randal Grichuk. 0-2. More and more players sliding in head first to make the adjustment. I've talked to the players about this. They can see the catch from the middle infielder, in this instance at the bag at second, and maybe they go in with the left hand, pull it back, and throw the right hand out. Don't see many feet first slides anymore. in the 0-2.
And as Lou Brock told me, you can only slide head first if the infielders allow you to do so. You know, getting away from contact, home plate, second base, can't take out guys, but you know, an infielder can drop a knee or on your hand or shoulder, try and hurt you. Don't play the game that way anymore.
First time the Cardinals have had 4 stolen bases in a single game since July 11th of 2015. That was against Pittsburgh, and in that game they had 5.
This looks good, doesn't it? Create that aggressive attitude.
Here's a 1-2 pitch to Grichuk. Curveball, and he hung it, got away with it. Well, the Cardinals get a right-hander up just in case. If they can break this game open, maybe bank some innings for Luke Weaver. Talk a lot about Jack Flaherty and how many innings he may get or may not get this season. We don't talk a lot about the youngster Luke Weaver, but that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah, it really is a good point. And also, you got confidence in some of the guys down there in the bullpen, so use them.
Broke his bat, and a fly ball lifted out to shallow left. Battling the sun and making the catch in left is Duvall. Reaching for it at the last moment and made the catch. Tommy Pham, now a 2020 man, reaches those milestones here today in St. Louis, and it's 4-1 after 5. Six and a 4-1 lead behind Luke Weaver. Weaver's allowed just a couple of hits today. Reds jumped out to a 1-0 lead in the second inning. They led early on of this series all 3 games, and Weaver getting run support, as you see there, since the All-Star break. Cardinals scored 2 in the 3rd, 2 in the 5th. Brebbia continues to throw, and this is Patrick Kivlehan, who was part of the double switch.
Zach Duke that has joined them, yes.
A swing and a miss and a strikeout. So Kivlehan, the first out here at the top of the 6th.
Brebbia set down, and now Bowman gets up along Zach Duke, the lefty. 90 pitches, so probably his last inning.
It does beg the question about when you get a reliever up and how much he throws when he gets up. Cardinals actually count every single pitch that a reliever will throw, not just in the game, but also in the bullpen. get a guy hot, then you sit him back down. It's 30, 40 minutes later, ask him to get back up. You got to be careful with that.
That's really changed. And, you know, a game like this, as a closer, I'd get up and start throwing in the 7th inning. A lot of times, a lefty and a righty would be throwing. 7th inning, the bullpen always says, but you never came into a game unless the pitcher, the starter, or a guy ahead of you got into trouble.
Nice play by Mejia. Two away.
Timed his jump perfectly.
So 2 quick outs. Pitch count at 94 for Weaver. Here's Zach Cozart 0 for 2. He's flied to left and grounded out to third. Breaking ball and a strike. Weaver with 6 strikeouts and no walks.
You have to think, with Duke being up, and if Votto came up, he would be coming into this game. So real important for Weaver to retire Cozart here, finish the inning, and let the bullpen take over next inning.
And Votto, not a small sample size, had a base hit the other night against Votto. Against Duke rather, and it's around 500 average.
Plus.
15 for 30, 15 for 31, something like that.
Interesting you bring up him, but
don't have to worry about it, at least for the moment. Weaver, quick, efficient, top of the 6th. 4-1 St. Louis. Nichols, section 428 here at the ballpark, enjoying some day baseball. Last regular season game Sunday, October 1st. Great giveaways, Six Flags, the Magnet schedule. That's Sunday, October 1st. Glad that shot wasn't staged. That seemed to be just so spontaneous.
And like Phil. What a job by
Alex
Weaver.
Mejia. And Mejia pops it up. And the catch made by Cozart right near the second base bag. And a pinch hitter will be Cole Wong against Stevens in his 2nd inning of work.
And I see Tyler Lyons warming up. That's how much respect Mike Matheny has for Joey Votto.
really the middle of the lineup. You say, and it goes to the old argument, are you better served with your closer? And Lyons, for the most part, has been the closer since Rosenthal went out. Are you better served using him now to face Votto 3, 4, and 5 instead of waiting and using him in the 9th? Game could be out of reach. You might be at the bottom of the lineup. You just don't know.
Well, it's also now you can do that because you got Nicasio.
Here's a 1-0 pitch. But still, the point is, I mean, if you want to have your best guy out there, and he's been your best, use him now.
Well, Whitey Herzog has told me, you know, he said, I would have a hard time today when I know the game is on the line early, not using my best. So accentuating your point.
I'm a fan of it. I think you take your best shot, worry about the 9th in the 9th, and I know not everybody agrees with this, but if this is the game on the line with these 3, why not?
I agree with it also.
As Wong looks at a ball 3-1. Now you get into the money side of the game, and closers can make a lot of money.
That's what, you know, the problem is. Manager goes. But I think as an organization.
Tough play here. Wong almost beat it out. Nicely done by Suarez.
I think that, you know, as an organization, manager and general manager, you see almost beats us out. Suarez do or die coming in there and makes a very nice play. But I think if, you know, if you, especially if you just signed a guy to a long-term contract, you say, look, you've got your money. Now we're going to use you the way we think is best to help the ball club. And it also, Danny, goes to the point of what I've been saying is now you're saying that maybe those final 3 outs aren't as important, that somebody can do it.
We're going to argue right now.
You know what I'm.
You're the only guy I've heard that says the final 9 outs are not like, or are as easy, if you will. I don't want to put words in your mouth, as the 5th, the 6th, or the 7th, where other guys say, well, hold on, getting to that number 27 is pretty darn tough. You would know better than most.
You know what? When you were talking to Ryan Franklin the other day, I started thinking about what he was saying and everything, and I guess what I'm saying is I programmed my mind to say if I felt comfortable in what other people say is pressure, I could make myself, you know, I could separate myself from other people. So I programmed my mind to feel comfortable in those closing situations.
The strikeout of Carpenter, he didn't like it one bit. We get to the 7th. Another chance at a win for Luke Weaver, up to the bullpen to get the final 9 outs. And the Cardinals going with Tyler Lyons in this spot. 44th appearance. Earned his 4th win this year Saturday night. The sweep of the Pirates. That's a new season high. He's allowed the 2nd fewest home runs among all relievers in the National League. In terms of Joey Votto, he's had very good numbers. It doesn't matter who you throw out there. But in this case, against Tyler Lyons, and Votto not happy, is something going on with the bench, and they're going to send somebody out to the bullpen of the Reds. Votto is hot, man. He is not happy with his own club.
He's a hitting machine. He wants in that batter's box when he wants to be there. Wong stays in the game, and Mejia moves from second base to third. Carpenter out.
You see the 26 home runs that he's hit. Kubota Power Stats against the Cardinals. 2 of those have been against Tyler Lyons. He's 5 for 10 against the Cardinal left-hander. 3 for his last 4 with a double, 2 home runs, and a strikeout. Had a walk-off against Lyons in his career, and it's 2 balls and no strikes.
Joey Votto was hitless against Weaver, 0 for 2. Weaver, by the way, 6 innings, 2 hits allowed, 1 run. It was unearned, no walks, 6 strikeouts, and his ERA now is down to 1.89.
I get a kick out of watching Votto in the box, stepping out, sometimes never steps out. If he gets a pitch that he thinks he should hit, he's mumbling, he's upset. And I'm telling you, he was hot when he saw that someone needed to go down to the bullpen of the Reds. He was in the box. 2-1 pitch. Chevy Fox tracks, and sometimes this very good breaking ball of Lyons will even fool an umpire.
Just late breaking right there.
3-2.
I think this is the first time we're seeing a matchup of Lyons and Votto, with Lyons so confident in his ability right now.
It's Votto here, then Suarez and Schebler. 4-1 our score. And the 3-2 pitch. Slider. Walked him.
He wasn't 100% sure.
Plaza Tire Service Fox tracks. Let's take a look. A little bit high. First walk the Reds have received today. Suarez hitting .281 against left-handed pitching.
Looks like, depending on what Suarez does here, but you can see after Schebler that Bowman would come in.
The pitch taken high. Suarez had the grand slam last night. That was off the lefty Ryan Sheriff. Reds have hit 7 grand slams this year. 7.
A 3-run lead doesn't mean anything to them.
One ball and 1 strike. Schebler, good numbers, by the way, the man on deck against Lyons. Keep that in mind. 4 for 6. Something to think about as Bowman continues to throw. Short lead at first, and the 1-1. A ball and 2 strikes.
When we showed the Hyundai pitch arsenal, and I was a little surprised. I know he threw an awful lot of the breaking pitches, but he threw more breaking pitches than fastballs. So it wasn't surprised to me that his fastball was only 89.
There's the strikeout.
And got the slider there, backdoored him.
I would assume that batters know that. They gear up for the breaking ball, and all of a sudden, fastball comes in. 89 looks like 95.
But what I'm saying is it's only 89 because you have to throw it more than 50%. I was told you throw your fastball about 70% of the time just to maintain the velocity. So if you don't use it, you kind of lose that velocity.
Here's Schebler. He says he was hit by the pitch. Throw to first surprised everybody, including Martinez.
How about Yadi? Once again, Yadi. Everybody's looking at Schebler, trying to claim he was hit by the pitch.
May have just barely gotten him. And how about Molina? He goes with a pickoff. Surprised Jose Martinez. He caught it at the last second, and Votto gave him a tip of the cap because he was napping down there too. The 1-0 pitch. 2 balls and no strikes. That's big. Not to have that hit by pitch. That would bring Duvall up representing the tying run, and we know about his power. Two and one.
Schebler got 26 home runs. Duvall on deck has 31. Breaking ball hasn't been affected. He's left it up and in, and then kind of sweeping away, but it's always been up.
Fouled back.
Fastball there is at 90. But it does kind of, like you say, sneaky fast with all the off speed, the breaking balls.
Schebler homered against the Mets back on the 29th of August, and since that time only 2 RBIs.
Slider again.
2-2 pitch. Struck him out.
Much better. Much better.
So we thought maybe a hit by pitch. Home plate umpire said no. Yadi stays in the game.
But look at,
don't nap.
everybody's watching the umpire and everything, and there's what you're talking about with Martinez.
Better get back.
That was Yadi, complimenting.
Sure. So 2 outs, runner at first. And strike 1 on Adam Duvall, who's 0 for 2. Grounded back to the pitcher, also flied out to left. And the 0-1. 0-2. What a weapon that Tyler Lyons has turned out to be here in 2017.
Oh, 2. Way ahead in the count. Slider. Don't hang it. That's a good one. Ball just kind of ho-hum. Another slider.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. Fly ball out to deep left. Pham has to go back. It's over his head and off the base of the wall. Bader backing up, and Votto is waved in late. Throw to the plate. They got him. They got him. Votto slams his helmet in disgust. Bader backing up. Heads up play. And the Cardinals maintain their 3-run lead. Bader, DeYoung, Molina, and it's time to stretch. Slam it. 4-1 St. Louis. Joey Votto gunned down by Paul DeJong at the plate. Here's Tommy Pham. 2 stolen bases today. 2-run homer. The Gateway Honda home run inning. Cardinals hit a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri. Here's a 1-0 pitch. Pham's home run was hit into the Cardinal bullpen. Pham has scored twice today. Cardinals 14-1 when he scores 2 or more runs. Leads the Cardinals with 85 runs scored this year. 0-1 pitch. Pham, base hit into right center. Sliding play in right by Kiblahan. Pham to second base with a double. Give a lot of credit to Harrison Bader for backing up on the double off the wall. And because of that, Votto maybe took this for granted. He hesitated just a bit around third. That hesitation leads to the relay and the throw and the out at the plate.
And see, he started to stop, and then he got the call from his third base umpire to come on home, and probably just that little hesitation. But you know what, Bader, this is what the young kids do. They back up plays. The ball got over the head. Karam went past Tommy Pham, and Bader picks it up. He's right where he's supposed to be.
Kiblahan, if he doesn't slide and stop that ball, that's a triple at least for Tommy Pham. Running hard out of the batter's box. He's in with a double. On base for the 3rd time. Here's a 1-0 pitch to Paul DeJong. Runners in scoring position. Paul hitting .241 this year. And the 1-1. Popped up to the right side. Votto over near the Cardinal dugout. Playable. And makes the catch.
Tommy thought about trying to go to third, and Votto fired it over there. Would have been out. Another thing about Votto, Danny, he's really good defensively. Leads all first basemen, National League first baseman in fielding percentage.
He's won a Gold Glove before. Jose Martinez, key hit in this game. Cardinals trailing 1-0 after a double steal, a base hit that scored 2 to give the Cardinals a 2-1 lead. Pham's home run made it 4-1. Ground ball hit to short. Cozart makes the play, staying put at second. It's Tommy Pham. Here's Yadier Molina, who is 0 for 3. Only other player with a home run and 2 steals in a game for the Cardinals, well, the last one to do it was Peter Bourjos in 2014. It's been a long time.
I could understand the steals by Bourjos, but the home run just didn't have the impact that they thought he was going to have, did he?
And Pham, the 6th Cardinal to be a 2020 man. He's at second base. Been talking a lot about Ray Lankford and Cardinals Hall of Fame. Ray did it 5 times. 5 times he was a 2020 man.
He was the all-time home run leader at Busch Stadium too. People forget about that.
He's got to be a Cardinal Hall of Famer.
And you know, I mean, they've been only doing it what, 3 years, 4 years, and look at the history of the Cardinals and all the success, all the players that have come through here. It's going to take time for. There's so many worthy candidates.
Here's the 0-1 pitch to Yadier Molina. Pham getting a really big lead at second base.
Cardinals have stole 4 bases, in this game against Barnhart, who had thrown out 45% of base stealers coming in.
Then a home run double, 2 steals, first to do that since Ray Langford, September 24th of 1998. It probably flew under the radar because of everything in '98 going around Mark McGwire.
When you think of Ray Langford, what's the first play comes to mind?
Darren Dalton at the plate.
Exactly.
Bowled him over.
Darren was a tough kid, but he got smoked. Ray was a really good football player. Modesto, California.
Molina, little flare out to shallow left, and it's caught. Sliding catch by Duvall. We head to the 8th. It's 4-1 St. Louis. This is our Chevy call to the pen. Adolis Garcia, walk-off homer for the Memphis Redbirds in the 11th. And they're up 2-0 in the PCL championship. That makes it now 13-0 their record in extra innings this season.
How about Garcia, O'Neill, a couple outfielders that we'd love to see up here. How many young position players and young pitching do the Cardinals have on the way? Brevia hasn't pitched since the 9th of September, so get him in here. He'll have the 8th, and hopefully 1, 2, 3, 8. And then I would look for Nicasio. If you bring in Lyons in the 7th inning, you can only use him 1 inning because you're going to have to have him, for the weekend, and you're also going to see the middle of the order one more time.
There's Jesse Winker. Is homered in this series, leadoff homer. He's at the top of the lineup, games 1 and 2. Pinch hitting for Stevens. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
Brevia ranks 2nd in the National League relievers in WHIP, 0.84, and leads National League rookie relievers in ERA. Done a nice job. And you guys were talking the other day about nobody knew Brevia. Cardinals didn't know him, and the big league staff didn't know him either. Derek Lilliquist said I mean, you tell me he didn't even come to spring training with us, or we didn't see him at all.
He gets a strikeout of Winker. That's how we start the 8th inning.
Derek was not aware of Brevia. He is now.
So 9 strikeouts in the lineup of the Cincinnati Reds.
I don't think that's unusual for them. They're going to be in double figures just about every game, but got a lot of firepower.
Tucker Barnhart in a base hit to left field. One out hit. Brings in Kivlahan. First plate appearance, he struck out back in the 6th. Part of a double switch.
Nicasio is warming up now.
Arizona has jumped out to a 2-0 lead against the Rockies. There's a swing and a miss. Milwaukee, an off day for them. And Chicago later tonight at Wrigley hosting the Mets. Here's the 0-1 pitch. There's a good slider. 0-2.
In this game, you're tied with Milwaukee. There's still a lot of this game left.
And the 0-2. Fastball, and he struck him out. 10 strikeouts in the lineup of the Reds today. Plaza Tire Service Fox Tracks catches the corner. And with 2 outs, back to the top of the lineup. Jose Peraza. 2 outs and a runner at first. (4-1) our score here. A.J. Pollock with the bases loaded has cleared him. And it's now a 5-0 Arizona lead in the bottom of the 1st. Our crowd today 40,230. 40230. Two outs, runner at first. The first pitch to Peraza.
See, Brevia really holding the ball a long time. I think Peraza would call timeout. Uncomfortable.
Certainly hope the umpire wouldn't.
Because he felt like it.
Referring to the night that Brevia was on the mound against the Red Sox. That's fouled back. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Tucker Barnhart, the catcher over at first base, but he does have 4 steals and 4 attempts. So probably catches a team napping. Brevia always does hold the ball a long time.
A ball and 2 strikes.
Really slowed down the velocity of that breaking pitch. Changes it, different speeds, makes it effective. And then he throws hard enough, mid-90s.
Here's a 1-2. And the 2-2 pitch to Peraza.
Set up inside, so look fastball.
Ooh, he thought he had strike 3.
That's the pitch, Dan, that umpires sit over the inside corner of the catcher, and I mean that's a strike all the way. It's right in front of them. They see that pitch and they don't call it. Then they guess at the pitch away because they're so worried about a foul ball. Slider
3-2 pitch. Got him to reach. Popped up. Colton Wong with the catch. Brebbia is scoreless. Top of the 8th. Got it back in quickly, and DeYoung was the cut. Threw a strike to Yadier Molina, and the inning was through. Gives you an idea of the pitches seen, that Bader pretty aggressive early in counts. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Wojciechowski he went spring training with the Diamondbacks, were released on March 28th. Signed with the Reds April 21st, signed to AAA.
And the 1-1. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Made 8 starts for the Reds, going 3-2 with an 8.41 ERA. And been out of the bullpen pretty much since.
2-2. The 2-2 pitch. That's hit out of play. Folks will be heading over to Ballpark Village, maybe staying in Ballpark Village. Check out the Cubs and Mets coming up later tonight. Fun place to take in a game when we're on the road. And the 2-2. It's about as late a swing as you can have to stay alive. But that's part of it.
Like getting in the kitchen. But like you say, you extend your bat. Just one of those little, you know, I'm just going to try and defensive swing, just try and hold on.
Three and two. Dexter Fowler was out running again today, trying to get back healthy after crashing into the wall the other night. And Bader has been the primary fill-in in center field. And the 3-2 up and in. Previous 3 at bats, he had seen 5 pitches. This one he sees 8. Friday, September 29th, you can look like the pros on the ice and on the field. That night, 30,000 fans. 16 and older take home a replica Blues batting practice jersey, just like the ones worn by the Cardinals during pregame warmups. It's courtesy of Fox Sports Midwest. Tickets at cardinals.com/promotions.
Cardinals have 6 walks now. Just 5 hits and 6 walks.
And they can be aggressive with a 3-run lead late. Bader, good speed, has his stolen base already today. Strike 1 on Randal Grichuk.
Two more strikeouts today for Grichuk. He's at 123 now. Has 24 walks, but 20 home runs.
Cardinals received 6 walks today. And so far, 3 of those 6 have come around to score. Cardinals up by 3. Walks can kill you. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Grichuk. Back in safely. This hasn't happened since June 30th of 2010. 4 stolen bases and 6 walks for a Cardinals team in a single game.
It's amazing. Anything you want to know stat-wise that somebody can find out.
What it tells you, though, is that even if you have an off day offensively, only 5 hits, the walks can come back to haunt you.
Yeah.
And the double steal came out to be huge for the Cardinals early on, with Jose Martinez driving in those runs with 2 outs. Bader at first base, the 1-2 pitch. He's running, hit out to left. That ball is down. Bader stops, though, at second base.
Duvall's got a good throwing arm. 13 assists out there to lead the National League. So you do have a 3-run lead, but you don't want to run into the first out at third base. He's going on the pitch. That's where you kind of think that if you're going running on the first pitch, that you should be able to get over there. But like I said, it's respect for the throwing arm of Duvall.
Wong at the on-deck circle. Reds anticipating a bunt here. Corners are in. Mejia, maybe to just get him right, force him to swing, show bunt, swing away. He's bunting, and that's a strike.
Got to be able to execute. And
the Cardinals, we talk about walks in the 3 games here against Cincinnati. 18 in the 3 games. They had 9 in game 1, 3 last night, 6 more today. Here's the 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike.
that's one of the problems they have, Dan, is they got so many guys that got good arms, but they don't have, you know, they're not finished products or have the ability to throw enough strikes.
The idea here would be Mejia bunted towards third with Votto charging hard to potentially get that lead runner.
Yeah, hard enough to get it by the pitcher, make the third baseman come in and field it.
Strike 2.
You're not going to hit for a high average. You better have the ability to do the little things like get down a sacrifice bunt.
1-2 the count on Mejia. Two and two. Inning started with a walk to Bader. Grichuk, the base hit to left. 2 runners on, nobody out. 2-2 the count. Three and two.
Swing away here. 3-2. Doesn't want to walk him. Load the bases.
3-2 pitch. Mejia squares, gets the bunt down. Votto only play to first. Runners advance to second and third, so he does his job, gets the bunt down. Cardinals looking for insurance, and Kolten Wong will be the batter.
Usually you're going to be told by the catcher where to go, but Votto never even looked at third. Probably made the right decision going to first anyway, but he had enough time to kind of at least look to third and see if he had a shot. But usually you're told what to do by your catcher, and another intentional walk for Kolten Wong. For Garcia to come up with the bases loaded.
The 11th intentional walk issued to Wong. Bader the walk. Grichuk the single to left. The sacrifice by Mejia. Intentional pass to Wong, and now Greg Garcia. Bases loaded. Inside. Since 2000, the Cardinals have hit 16 grand slams against the Cincinnati Reds. It seems like a number of those were hit by Albert Pujols.
Yachty has at least one.
One ball, one strike on Garcia. Talk about it all the time. Very tough out. Finds a way to get on. Hit by pitch, walk. Fights through an at bat.
Like David Weathers couldn't get Albert out. Some of the comebacks against Danny Graves.
Here's a 1-1. Inside, 2 balls and a strike.
Just hope that they took Carpenter out, but it wasn't because of his shoulder. You could see kind of a part of a double switch, but yet it's really a 3-run game. Give him a little rest on that shoulder, barking a bit.
2-1 pitch. Garcia with a fly ball. Shallow right. Sliding catch is made. Runner tags. That's Bader. He'll score. That makes it a 5-1 St. Louis lead. And with Tommy Pham coming up, let's take a look at our Nissan drive of the game. Opposite field home run for Tommy. This made him a 2020 man. The Nissan drive of the game.
Stole his 20th and 21 first base early in the game. Then he had added the 20th home run, one of his goals, and now it keep on adding on.
Runners at first and second. Here's Tommy Pham. Pham with a fly ball into shallow right. Cardinals will pick up a run, strand 2, add to their lead. It's 5-1. Juan Nicasio coming on when we come back. For St. Louis, our Chevy Colt to the pen. He's been a really much needed pickup, veteran presence back into the bullpen. And oh, by the way, he can still get people out. He is good.
He's picked up saves in his first 2 appearances with the Cardinals. First career save of 4 outs was Friday. Friday when we were potential free agent, and he's auditioning right now for next year. You have to assume Rosenthal's going to be out the entire year.
Grosart against Nicasio, 0 for 13 with 4 strikeouts. First pitch popped up and out of play. The Cardinals hold on. Win number 77. They go to 77 and 69.
Nicasio needed to pitch also. He hadn't pitched since Friday night.
It was a long outing that was back-to-back outings against his former team, the Pirates. A ball and a strike. 1-2.
And that was his 4th save, second with the Cardinals. 1 inning work, 1 hit, no walks, struck out 2. Still get it up there and got a very good, breaking ball.
Here's a 1-2 pitch. Get out of play. The Cardinals hold on. Luke Weaver will have won his last 6 decisions, tying Adam Wainwright longest streak this year.
Danny, his ERA drops under 2 at 1.89. Shows you how dominant he's been during that time.
And that's pulled foul. It also would be 5 consecutive starts with a win. First time that Cardinals have had that happen since Shelby Miller back in 2014. Vaughn makes the play, 1 away. Remember, Weaver had some relief appearances mixed in between starts. And here is Joey Votto, 3 for 14 with a homer, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts against Juan Nicasio. A reminder, it's John Lackey, Carlos Martinez tomorrow from Wrigley Field. Will come your way at 12:30. 1 out, nobody on. You always think about how a team wins and the key parts in a game, how it happens. You go back to the Martinez base hit with 2 outs after a double steal that scored 2. And you think about Joey Votto getting thrown out at the plate in a 4-1 game, hesitating around third, and give Bader, DeYoung, and Molina all the credit in the world. Very good relay. The 1-1 pitch.
Again, it's little things like that that just are not as good. There you see Bader gets the carom. He's backing up the play. Hits DeYoung, fires there. Yachty gives Mullane a nice easy tag.
Here's a 2-1. Votto out to right, and a ball that hits off the glove of Grichuk. Votto thinking 2 on his way to second, and safe. That's one you think that might have knuckled a little bit potentially there on Grichuk. Hard hit.
Yeah, hard hit, and it's going to sink on him. Kind of hit him in the heel of the glove. I think if he thought about it, he had more time, he may not have tried to slide. Might have just caught that ball running, but it was probably knuckling and everything else on him.
So 1 out and a runner at second base. Suarez at the plate. Strike one. He's 1 for 9 against the Cardinal right-hander. Oh, and 2.
Umpires sitting over that inside shoulder of the catcher, and they guess at the pitch away. You can exploit that. Didn't get the call that time, but I don't know why he's going back out there.
See that pitch hit 98. Still throwing hard. A ball and 2 strikes. Votto, the runner at second base.
Big, strong guy. I think the pitch count, in an inning doesn't mean that much. And the ability to come back day after day.
The 2-2. 2 away. We turn to today's Budweiser Player of the Game. Who else? Tommy Pham, on base 3 times. And he became a 20-20 man. 20 home runs, 20 steals. He did it the same game. 2 for 4, 2-run homer, double, walk, 2 steals, and 2 runs scored. He's now up to 85 to lead the Cardinals this year in that category.
Couldn't be happier for him. Good guy, Tommy Pham, and like I said, 12 years in the organization. He could have gone several times being free agent as a minor leaguer, but stayed in the organization that he started with.
And now Schebler. Ball 1. Schebler today, double, only run scored for Cincinnati. That was in the 2nd inning. And he struck out twice. Here's a 1-0 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. One and 2. Cardinals hold on. They would be 2.5 out for the moment.
Get back tied with Milwaukee for 2nd place.
Here's a 1-2 pitch.
Casio 1 out, away from being 3 for 3. 3 appearances with Cardinals, 3 saves. I wouldn't get a save today. He's a 4-run lead. Still, he'd finish another game in a victory.
2-2 pitch. Fly ball out to center. Bader going back. Can't come up with it. A run will score. Schebler on his way to 3rd with a triple. Extends the ball game to make it 5-2. Great effort by Bader, and center almost came up with it.
He's going to have to run out here. You can see him going for it the last second. You reach up at the last second, or otherwise if you reach up too soon it slows you down, and just beyond his reach. But great effort, as you said. Lays out on the warning track. Game not quite over.
Here's Adam Duvall. Strike one. Schebler, the runner, at third. 5-2 our score here in the top of the ninth. Duvall 0 for 4 with a strikeout against the Cardinal right-hander. Oh, and 2.
Like that triple made him mad. Pitches up at the top of the strike zone or a little bit above, like you said. It's really tough to catch up to.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. Fly ball. Foul territory. Martinez. He's got it. The Cardinals take 2 of 3. They hold on. They win it 5-2. And now they look forward to a showdown at Wrigley Field in Chicago.
And they needed to win this rubber game, but now they need to keep on winning, particularly in Chicago. The next 3 should be a lot of fun, Danny. I'm jealous. I'm not going with you.
The Cardinals win this game, and now they are 2.5 games behind the Chicago Cubs. Cubs play later tonight. Cardinals are within 3 of Colorado in the wild card. Luke Weaver picks up another win. The Cardinals pick up win number 77. A pennant race here in September. 5-2 the final. And the postgame show comes your way next.